Good day, folks. Thanks for joining us. I'm Robin Dillard, publisher of BEQ Pride Magazine, and I'm here in the studio coming to you live with a new friend who is a small business rock star. I have half of the duo, the dynamic duo from Mason Dixie Foods. This is Ross Perkins. Ross, welcome. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, how's it going, Robin? Pleasure to be here.
Good, good. So let's just kick this off with sort of giving all of our friends here a little bit of history on Mason Dixie Foods, how you and Ayeshah Abdul Higa, is that right?
Appalachia, how it's spelled and how it
Wow.
sounds are two very different things. But my business partner Ayesha Appalachia, and
Appalachia, I
yeah,
love it. Beautiful, beautiful.
yes,
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, awesome. So my business partner actually was the one that founded the Mason Dixie Foods concept. So she started in 2014, actually as a restaurant in Washington D.C. We're now Baltimore based, but we got our roots are still are DC based, and from the restaurant concept, people are like, we're making biscuits and fried chicken and just like a lot of like really good breakfast foods. And our consumers were like, I really love to have these biscuits. I like to bake them off myself, take them home with me. So she came up with the idea of packaging the biscuits in a way so our consumers can actually just take the product home and bake them off themselves. We got like the marketing manager of Whole Foods Mid-Atlantic, which is like right outside of DC.
Okay.
She got wind of this product and she's like, you know what, Whole Foods needs to have this. At the time I knew Ayesha socially through my time as a freelancer for Eater, Thrillist, and a few other like local online publications in the DC market. And Ayesha like brought me in. She's like, hey, we're launching this product line. I don't know anything about consumer packaged goods. Can you give me some help here? And this was now 2015. I was like, sure, let's do this. And I came on board. I was definitely naive. I definitely didn't know what I was stepping into, but it was such a great opportunity. And now we're 7 years hence.
Wow.
We just launched we're in more than 6,000 stores across the country. And we just launched, we just announced our partnership with Marriott, actually. So we're providing a better for you breakfast now at Marriott. So we've come a long way than being this little like startup in the DC market. We're now a national brand and we couldn't be happier about it.
That is fabulous. I think one of the things that you pointed out, and I heard that you guys came together over some breakdancing. Can you just give us a little bit of
Oh,
that?
yes. Yeah. So in my, again, we're talking about, 2015. I was 7 years younger. I was 7 years, a little bit more flexible. I'm now approaching 40. So the body's giving way a little bit. But let's just say I know how to dance. I know how to break it down a little bit. And she was having her epic 30th birthday party. And I was able to do the worm and, in front of everyone. And she was like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? And so like, at that time we just knew each other like, socially, but not really well. But I think if anything, my breakdancing and abilities kind of helped solidify the partnership. Yeah.
That's what's important, right?
Yeah.
So just in case my friends who are watching today or will watch on the record, our BEQ Pride Spring 2022 magazine features you and Ayeshah
Yes.
at Mason Dixie Foods. And it's just a fabulous, a chance to tell a story about a successful company that has at its core diversity, equity, and inclusion. Can you tell us a little bit about how you felt when you realized we picked this particular article, the profile on our cover and featured on cover, and then the relationship with you guys being leaders and running this company and being diverse and the authenticity, all of those pieces. Just share that a little bit with our audience.
Absolutely. And I'll be frank with you as well, Rob. And so like we were super honored and thrilled when we were told that we'd be on not only the cover, but like we'd have that incredible spread in the publication. We were beyond ourselves. We operate in the frozen bakery space, the frozen food space. And it's not a very sexy space. There's not a lot of like emerging brands in the space. It's filled with a lot of legacy players. And Ayesha and I didn't set out to completely change the industry and, be vanguards and bringing new people to the space, but we have been just by being, being our authentic selves. I'm an out and proud gay man. There's not a lot of gay LGBT owners in the frozen food space. Ayesha is a proud woman of color. There's not a lot of women of color in the frozen food industry. And our push to be more inclusive and to promote DEI initiatives, it wasn't something that we explicitly set out to do. We had some good ideas and we wanted to execute them, and we wanted to bring better for you food options to our consumers. But now as we've grown, we realize we have to be leaders in the space as well, and show people that representation matters. There is a space for all different kinds of people in the frozen food industry, whether some of our legacy players believe that or not. So, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your business 7 years hence is woman-owned, controlled, managed, certified in that space.
Yes.
But tell us a little bit about your certifications, if there are others, and how people can find your product more. 6,000 stores, but how do we get what? And I think there's a place on your website.
Yeah, I'll give you the entire scoop. So we are a certified woman-owned business. Ayesha, my business partner Ayesha, is the CEO and founder. We are gay-owned, not certified gay-owned, because I do not control a majority stake. So I am one of the co-owners. I'm the COO of the business. So we have a line of frozen foods that are, found throughout 6,000 grocery stores across the country. We're talking Publix, Whole Foods, Kroger, select Albertsons, Safeways, a lot of natural and specialty stores as well. We can find us in your freezer case, your frozen bread or your frozen breakfast space. But then the biggest announcement is the fact that we've also moved we're not only in the grocery space, but we're also in the food service space. We're servicing more than 3,000 Marriott branded hotels in their breakfast space. So you can get our sandwiches and or scones and or biscuits depending on what the hotel brand is. And so it's something that we were actually able to leverage by being in the DMV area, because this is the home base of Marriott. So we were able to develop a very close partnership with them, just because we're just down the road effectively from headquarters, and they knew of us from our time with restaurants in the DC area. We no longer have any brick and mortars anymore. We are completely consumer packaged goods, but there was a time where we had some brick and mortars in the Washington DC area. So.
Yeah, this is exciting. I will tell you that I frequented a couple of the brands you named, including an Acme store that had the widest selection.
Okay.
And I was able to get a cheddar cheese sausage biscuit and blueberry scones. But I have yet to get my hands on those buttermilk biscuits. And
oh my God. Well,
really have to do that.
There's Wegmans, there's Whole Foods, Acme, Giant. I'm not going to say that we've been able to 100% weather the supply chain breakdown, where there's trials and tribulations every day. But I couldn't be proud of our team for trying to make it through and doing the best that we can to navigate these times with the supply chain breakdown. But Robin, I'll make sure that you get your hands on some of our buttermilk biscuits. I mean, they're the legacy product. They're the product that really made Mason Dixie Foods what it is today. So yes.
And I think that's what's so cool. I think one of the things that stood out is obviously the marketing behind the brand, the colors, the stories, the look and feel of the product is so approachable. And I think that was the big draw. And then the reality of when there is a problem in the supply chain and when you do have to make some decisions about what to do, going back to your core, what you're known for, doubling down on that and making sure you're keeping happy clients is really important. So I'm really happy that I'm going to be receiving some of those biscuits so I can tell people more about them. But in reality, what I really want to know, your background's more in finance, and it looks like from your LinkedIn profile. Yeah. But give us a little bit of a understanding about how you traversed not only the jobs but skills to be where you are today, and what's your day-to-day role like in the company.
Sure. So we've grown tremendously just even in the last 6 months. I mean, when Ayesha and I just even a year ago with Asha and I, we were, probably at maybe a dozen people and, on the team. And so everyone, we're still, we're in the emerging brand space. We're not a startup anymore, but people still wear a lot of hats. Now at this point where we've more than 2x'd our team size, and we have plenty of job openings happening right now. So we'll probably 3x our team size pretty soon. But yeah, as you mentioned, I worked in finance. I worked at big consulting firms outside of the DC area. Before that, I was actually in the Peace Corps. So I was served in Malawi for effectively 3 years, actually. And I worked with a lot of small business entrepreneurs in Malawi to help them, get their ideas kind of off the ground and get some traction, which kind of translates very naturally to what I'm doing. What I did with Mason Dixie Foods was like taking an idea and trying to build it out and actually, make it something that was sustainable. But my time at like Booz Allen and KPMG doing consulting, I had some incredible mentors, incredible bosses. Probably the best thing I learned from them was synthesizing data and presenting it in a way to the audience to basically get whatever needs to be addressed, get it across as clearly and succinctly as possible. So, my day-to-day here though is, spent everything from working with trucking companies, working with our partners on the manufacturing side or the packaging side, mentoring some of our younger team members. I looked over there just to make sure that they're all copacetic, because like we have the team, like I said, has grown tremendously. We have like a core group of execs and managers who are all women, who are seasoned in their professions and know exactly what they're doing. And then we have like a younger group of new people into the frozen food space, from all different walks and backgrounds. And so my role is moved less to the tactical stuff and more to like the mentorship, helping with career development and helping really like build their skill set. So, one day when, they want to go find another opportunity that's not Mason Dixie Foods, like they're ready to go find, that opportunity. They have the skill set to do that. I always say the proudest thing I have is like when my junior team members get poached, because if they get poached, that means like we're doing something right.
Well,
Yeah. So like
that's
that's always my like that's always like the best thing that can happen, really.
Right. That's how you measure your success. I'm wondering, given that our magazine focuses on LGBTQ plus and same gender loving folks, their businesses, whether they're in corporate America and a professional, in academia, in public sector and government.
Yeah.
It's really looking at their success first and then including all other diverse people and allies with them. So I'm asking now of you personally, as an LG and proud gay man, do you have any advice for young LGBTQ plus people first and other young people on, talk to the Ross of 13, 14, 15, or what would you say to him if you could go back and tell him about what you're doing now and how you're living your best life?
So what I would tell him is trust your gut when an opportunity presents itself. So especially when, I came on board with Mason Dixie Foods, like, it's a big risk, big reward, but big risk as well. I'm probably less risk loving now than I was then, but to tell my younger self, who's still figuring things out, who still didn't know who he was and what he wanted, like, just trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right, there's a reason for it. Like, yourself better than anyone else ever will. Like, just listen to who you are and, take that advice and just go down that path.
Well, I'm going to plug this, the piece that we have in the magazine for folks to go ahead and pick
Good.
it up. You can actually get a copy of our magazine from our Shopify store. You can subscribe. You can visit our website and read it for free. We just want to get those stories out there. But the last two more questions before we wrap up. The first thing is, I want to know a little bit about the future. What does the future look like for Mason Dixie Foods and for you in particular? And then secondly, I'd like to know how you feel about a platform like BEQ Pride and the Business Equality Magazine and Business Equality Network as a platform for having these kinds of discussions and engaging other businesses like Mason Dixie Foods.
Awesome. Well, I'll answer the first one. So, like, where we're going with this. So, Ash and I are just getting started on bringing, consumers better for you food options, wherever they may eat it, whether it's in the grocery stores, whether it's at hotels. We're looking to expand our footprint into other service lines, into other channels, convenience stores. Perhaps colleges and universities. We want to bring the food that we love to make, and we want to bring our culture and like the fun that we're having. We want to bring it to everyone else wherever they may be. One of our ethos is to bring accessible and affordable food to people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we don't think it's something that we make should be, available just to those with, big pocketbooks. Like, we want to make sure that everyone has access to, affordable, better for you options. So that's part of our overall mission. And as we continue, it's great, Robin, because as we continue to grow, we can actually, get those margins that we want, so we can, work on our pricing, and so we can like really hit that goal of being accessible to everyone, regardless of their socioeconomic status. So that's I know it's a very general overall goal, but like there's nothing, but like that's kind of like where we're headed in the near term, actually. And then as for BEQ Magazine, like I think it's a fantastic platform for other people to see, like a woman of color in a in the manufacturing space. It's like it's not there's not a lot of visibility in the manufacturing space. Is actually, like, I call it like one of those invisible industries. A lot of people don't even think about, the manufacturing space. Like people think about tech. Everyone, tech is always in your face. Like, there's a lot of like industries where like you think about it and you engage with it. Manufacturing's not one of them. But the thing is, there's still a lot of people that work in manufacturing. There's still a lot of opportunities there. And so if, BEQ is highlighting, people that are making a difference on the DEI side in industries where people don't think about, like, it shows other people that maybe there isn't a career opportunity in that space, and I just never considered it before. So
yeah, I think that's one of the things we'll hit on just as we wrap up, is the true value of diversity, equity, inclusion. How do you realize on your bottom line? It's not just a feel good thing. I heard Ayesha say that diversity isn't a program, it's a guarantee at Mason Dixie Foods. Tell me a little bit about that as we close out. And I'm willing to risk a little bit extra time. I'm risking it for the biscuit.
Good. Yes. I knew you'd have to plug that in at some point. So yeah, we risk it for the biscuit. It's funny because like Ash and I talk about this all the time. Like, we don't have any like explicit DEI goals. It's not like we want X number of people to fit this. The thing is, like, we are who we are. We are a diverse company. We're authentically ourselves. And the thing is, that attracts other people who are like that. And so when we grow our team, we're not actively like, seeking people. We actually, through our own team, we usually get recommendations like, oh, this person's looking for an opportunity. This person's looking for an opportunity. And, by just really embracing who we are, we're attracting other people who embrace who they are, regardless of who they love, what they look like. We bring people their full selves to Mason Dixie Foods.
You know what, Ross, just to make that point, I want to reiterate, that's what I love about Mason Dixie Foods. Just even on paper, if you're just looking around on LinkedIn, or if you're looking around on Instagram or YouTube videos of Ayesha, that comes through. The fact that you don't have any explicit DEI goals because it's part of who you are. Correct. It just happened. And you're translating that into value for your customers, for the companies you're partnering with. And that is truly, truly the side of the history that BEQ Pride wants to be on, telling more stories of where diversity isn't a program, it's guaranteed, it's baked in, inclusion, it's baked in. And we really, are really proud to have you on the cover this time. And so the magazine will be on the market through June. We're happy to share even more of a relationship after this if we can. If there's any way we can support you, we will. There's money in this thing. There's
Yeah.
value in this thing, and you guys are a glowing example of it. And thank you so much for talking with me today.
Well, thank you, Robin.
Do you
Yeah.
have any questions of
Uh,
us on our
Well,
team?
so yeah, I actually I want to know because when it like kind of just like my last comment was, what kind of feedback do you guys get from people in the manufacturing sector, whether it's food manufacturing or furniture manufacturing or industrial scale manufacturing? There's not a lot of talk about diversity in that space. So I just wondered if like anything has come across your table at BEQ regarding that.
Not that I can think of offhand, but we're always ready to have some conversations. Is that something you'd be interested in hearing about? Because we
Uh,
sure would.
Yes,
And
I think I could connect you with an organization that
oh, that'd
has,
be wonderful.
yeah, a lot of potential people to talk to. So yeah, let's do it.
Love it, love it, love it. So thank you so much. I hope this isn't the last time we talk. I really want to keep an eye on what you guys are doing. And thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure, Robin. Thank you.